Alright, so I watched Toy Story with my girlfriend a month and a half ago, and it spawned a fire in me to watch every Pixar movie because I'd never actually done that when I was younger, and it ended up being beautiful. It was a beautiful experience, and now I'm gonna talk about the beautiful experiences that I had. I decided not to rank these movies because everyone on YouTube ranks these movies, so I'm just gonna review them. I'm just gonna discuss them in a podcast format, but it's gonna be music and no other people. Because no one else is as passionate about these movies as I am, obviously. Alright, so we're going to do these in order, starting with Toy Story. Toy Story is great. I think it's great. I think it's a bit overrated, though. I do think a lot of people put this one in their top 10 or 5 just because it was revolutionary. And that's fine. I actually like shitty, early dated animation. I think it looks nostalgic, even though I wasn't alive when this movie came out. So that's not the issue. I just don't think it's as interesting or compelling as all the other Toy Stories. Well, maybe 4, but it's nowhere near as interesting as 2 or 3. And so, yeah, this is a really fun movie, really goofy movie. But I don't think it's anything more than that. I think it's just a solid 8 out of 10. Alright, next up we got A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is delightful, but pretty bad. Again, the shitty, dated early animation is going strong with this one. But there's really not a lot to this one. It's honestly like a 6 or a 5 out of 10. Like a strong 5 to a light 6. Like the villain's great. I like Hopper a lot. I like the circus bugs. I think they're funny. I like the scene where where Flick teases Dot with the rock or something, and then it comes back. That's like the one time I felt like strong emotions watching this movie. It's fine, it's cute. I think if you put it in front of a 10-year-old, they would love it. It's not great, but it's fine. I should say now, I watched these movies in order, so my memory on the early movies is a bit cloudy. But I loved Toy Story 2. I think it was fantastic. I kind of think this is a movie that's been praised a lot. I think everything good that you've probably already heard about this movie is true. It's super interesting with the deeper themes about what it really means to be a toy, Woody's inner conflict between staying at the museum and being forgotten with Andy, and he chooses to accept that he's going to be forgotten one day. I think that's really cool. I think Jessie's a really good character, showing her backstory, and I like that because it's original. In all the other Toy Story movies, they have a toy's sad backstory with a person abandoning them, and it works in those movies too, but this is the first movie to do it, and it was way better because it was the first time they had done it. I like Jessie a lot. I think the Prospector is a really good twist villain, which is goofy because twist villains fucking suck a lot of the time. But it worked really well here. This is a 9 out of 10. Sorry for how disorganized this feels, but I think it's funnier if I just kind of go off the dome. You'll get a much more genuine reaction to when these movies start to get shitty, but we're still on the good train with Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. is great. It made me realize, it reminded me why I want to have kids. I love Boo. I think she's the most adorable thing I've ever seen in a movie. I haven't seen a lot of movies though, so maybe I'll have to retract that statement one day, but no. Mike and Sully are hilarious. This movie's so creative. I love everything about it. Except, I mean, it's not as deep or thematic as some other movies, but I don't care. It's a lot of fun. This is an 8 out of 10. I love this movie. Alright, Finding Nemo, let's fucking go. I love everything about this movie, but that's because I watched it when I was 7 about 1,000,000 times, and I thought it was the greatest thing to ever exist, and I still think it's one of the greatest things to ever exist, but maybe not the greatest. I love this movie so much. I understand why some people might think it's just like a good movie, but I don't know. I think it's still really funny. I think the sense of adventure and the scale of everything is really felt really well. It's probably the best thing about the movie. It really emphasizes how amazing of a journey this is that Marlin's going on. And it really shows his dedication. This is hard to articulate. I do think the Tank Gang, they're not as good as I remember. I think Gil is an interesting character, and how he's willing to push Nemo just to get back to the ocean. I think that was an interesting conflict, but the rest of them aren't that funny. The seagulls aren't very funny, and that's the problem. But I love the John Ratzenberger fish. I love Bruce. I love Bruce a lot. There's so much about this movie that I love. I love the ending, where Nemo runs back to hug. Dory's fine. I guess I should mention Dory. She's pretty funny. I remember fucking wailing When when watching her scenes when I was really young, but now I don't know. She's funny. She's not great. So I would still I'd probably downgrade this movie to a 9 out of 10, but given my personal bias, I still love this movie so much. And it was definitely one of the, in terms of crying, I didn't cry, but it was top 3 and closest to getting me to. Alright, oh man, The Incredibles. I just had to take in how amazing this movie is. I just had to take a breather because this movie's so fucking good. There were several points while watching this movie that I was angry at how good the movie was. There'd be a really good line or a really good action sequence or a movie or a really cool syndrome quote, and I would just be like, "Oh my fucking god, this movie's so good." That happened. I shit you not. That happened like 5 times throughout the movie. It's objectively the best movie on here. I think it's a 10 out of 10. It's one of the most tightly written movies I've ever seen. I haven't seen a lot of movies though. I think everyone's covered to death how amazing this movie is. It's got the best villain in any Pixar movie. It's got just such a great depiction of just family conflict, and that manages to be so compelling somehow. And then, like, the fact that they're superheroes is like the backseat conflict, which is just so amazing. Yeah, but everyone's already heard how amazing this movie is. It's one of the best computer animated movies of all time, and I still think I like WALL-E more. Alright, it's Cars time. This movie's so weird. I don't know, there are a lot of people that actively defend this one and like say it stands tall with the rest of the 2000 Pixar movies. I don't know. I think it's really good. I think it's really shitty, actually. I think it's really bad for 52 minutes, and then it's pretty good for about 52 minutes. I don't exactly know how long the movie is, but I swear to you, the first and second half are so different. It's so stupid. The first half of this movie, I hated it. I mean, the race sequence is fine. Both of the race sequences are pretty good. But after that, up until the cow tipping scene, where Lightning McQueen and Mater have that little heart-to-heart, I was so bored. Lightning McQueen is such an ass for that entire time, and it's just so hard to root for him, because his character doesn't even start until the second half of the movie. And the only character, like, Mater isn't that bad. I mean, I think the Piston Cup joke is obviously peak. It's peak. But that's later on. He doesn't really have any other funny jokes in the movie. I kind of like the vibe. Like, I think Radiator Springs is a charming location, but there's literally no memorable or likable characters besides Doc and Mater for the first half of the movie. And then Lightning comes around as fine. Like, his character is okay. The scene where they drive with Sally is fine. The ending, the king needs to finish his last race. My friend really likes to quote that scene. Whenever I try to tell him the movie's bad, he goes, but dude, the king needs to finish his last race. And yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't make the movie that good. I think this is a 5 out of 10. It's not terrible. There's some merit in it, but it's really not great. Alright, Ratatouille. This is a fun one, because I know that if I say the wrong thing about it, people will be quite angry. But I think this is a slightly overrated masterpiece. That's what I text. That's my instant reaction. I texted my girlfriend my instant reaction to every movie at the end, and I told her this is a slightly overrated masterpiece. I think it's a great movie. It's got one of the best messages of any Pixar movie. It's so inspirational. Remy following his dreams, despite the doubt, is really great. I like Linguini as a character. I kind of relate to him. I know that feeling of trying everything within your power to not fuck things up at a new job, and every time you try to make things better, it doesn't work. So I don't know, that made me like him, and also I kind of look like him, so there's that. But I totally get why people would be annoyed by him. He's kind of a total screw up, but I liked that part. I don't know. Chef Skinner is a great villain. I like the scene where he gets Linguini drunk. This is definitely, I wouldn't say it's an adult-oriented movie, but it's definitely, it's definitely, a lot of people praise this movie for not necessarily being a kid's movie, and I think that's true. I don't think it's like The Incredibles. I think The Incredibles is fully like, that is not a kid's movie. This still kind of is, but there is a scene where Skinner gets Linguini drunk, which is kind of hilarious. That's a good scene. Skinner's a good villain. It's weird that he just kind of gets cut out of the movie. for the last fourth of it, and they replaced him with Anton Ego, who is way better. The speech that he gives is obviously super amazing. I love that part. I just wish Colette was developed more. I really liked her. I think they could have done a lot more with her character. She was just kind of... It's weird how they don't build to her liking Linguini. Like, after she teaches him, she already kind of likes him a lot. And I figured, given how tough she is, I figured she would have to come around, especially with someone as weird and dopey as Linguini. I love Linguini, though. And it was really weird how Remy just kind of forcing Linguini to kiss her in that one scene where she's clearly uncomfortable. She's got fucking pepper spray. And it just works, and she's just in love with him now. I think that was stupid. So that's why I don't think this movie is as good as some people say on YouTube say it is. I still think it's a 9 out of 10. A low 9, though. I think it's really amazing. The amazing stuff in it is as good as everybody says. The speech at the end, the message, it's so great. My voice keeps cracking. That's really great. I fucking love that. Sorry. Yeah, this is an amazing movie, but I don't think it's perfect. Alright, gonna be totally honest here. I think WALL-E is my favorite movie of all time. I like space a lot. I love Mario Galaxy a lot. I've played a fuck ton of Mario Galaxy. Like, I've played it through like 4 times. I just love looking at space. I had a toy as a young boy with all the planets. You would like press a button and it would tell you a fact about the planet. I had little light up things of planets in my room. I like space, so I'm a bit biased towards this movie, but it's also just the most adorable thing I've ever seen, with the 2 robots that somehow show so much emotion without any dialogue. It's so amazing. The first half of this movie is just the most entranced I've ever been while watching a movie. It was so beautiful. And then it gets a little less beautiful. I think the human characters, though, are still great. I think that's kind of the cutoff point for people. Some people don't love this movie as much because of the human characters. I like them. I understand they're not super compelling, but I like the captain a lot. I thought he was going to be kind of an idiot, but he's actually really fun and easy to root for. And I love the line, "I don't want to survive, I want to live." That's sick. I think Otto is a good villain. He's not great, but I don't really care. This movie doesn't need a villain, so I think not having a great one isn't a problem, a huge problem. I still think the movie's perfect, but I'm a bit biased. I used to not like love stories out of masculine insecurity, but now I'm a huge fan. There's also the score. I think this is the best non-Michael Giacchino score of a Pixar movie. Obviously, he's kind of a tier above everybody else, especially with The Incredibles and Ratatouille. But I think this is 3rd place. Up is the best one. But this is the best non-Michael Giacchino score. I think Thomas Newman does an incredible job, especially with Define Dancing. That might be my favorite song in any Pixar movie. It might be Married Life. It's one of those 2. Very close. And yeah, that scene with Wally and Eve dancing in space with the beautiful music, that is the best scene I've ever seen in any movie. Haven't seen a lot of movies, but still. I love everything about this movie. It's perfect. You need to watch it. Alright, I'm getting tired of all these really good movies. I just want to rant about a shitty movie, but that's almost there. Up is really great. It's cute. It's lovely. The opening is obviously super amazing. The rest of the movie is not as amazing, but it's still great. I think I like Russell a lot. I think he's an underrated Pixar protagonist. A lot of people just think he's fine. I really like him. I think he's really cute. I think Kevin is cool, is mid, but Doug is great. I love Doug a lot. This is a good group of protagonists, but it's not an amazing group. It's a good villain, not a great villain. I still think this is an 8 out of 10 movie because the score is so amazing, and the opening is so amazing, and the ending is really amazing. So those 3 amazing bits still elevate to an 8 out of 10, but the rest of the movie is just pretty good and fun. Alright, Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story. I think it's slightly better than 2. I think it's much better than 1 and 4. It's a fucking prison escape movie, and I love how they don't tell you the elaborate plan they have. You watch it for yourself, and it's so much fun. I love how creative they are with how these toys move. They come up with new creative ways to make these toys solve problems every damn movie. It's so awesome. It's got a great twist villain, a lot of Barbie and Ken shenanigans, which was actually really funny. I think this movie is probably maybe the funniest Toy Story. I remember Toy Story 4. All these movies are really funny, which is crazy because the rest of Pixar movies aren't as funny. It's just so weird how these movies always end up being so freaking charming. But the ending is obviously the best ending to any Pixar movie. The fucking incinerator scene, or whatever it is, where the scene where they're all gonna burn and die, is amazing. You see all their faces. They don't say anything to each other. They just hold hands. I love how Woody has had a plan for every single obstacle they faced throughout the entire movie, and that's where he gives up. It's so amazing to watch. Oh my god. Lotso's a great twist, but I don't know if I said that. It's not, his backstory isn't as compelling because they've already done this shit where they got abandoned and they seek revenge. That's another voice crack, by the way, number 3. But whatever, he's still an amazing villain. I didn't cry. Well, my male ego wants to tell you that I didn't cry. I kind of did. I kind of teared up at the end of the movie because I'm going to college in 2 weeks. So it's it hits really close to home right now. But I didn't get to soak in how amazing this movie is. This is a personal tangent, by the way. So the review part ends here. This movie's amazing. Best Toy Story, 9 out of 10. But after I was done with the movie, the second the credits started rolling, I heard someone enter the code to get into our house. I was like, okay, it's probably my dad. And then they get the code wrong like 6 times. Like, wow, my dad's an idiot. I'm gonna go text him. Is that you trying to get in the house? And he says, no, I'm at work. And I'm like, shit. I mean, someone's breaking into our house. I didn't say it that jovially, but I was freaking out. So then I get up. It wasn't. I get up. I call my mom. We're all fine. No one was breaking into my house. It was my sister. But I thought I was gonna die for a little bit after watching the movie. So I didn't get to soak in how amazing the movie is. But it's okay. It's still really good. Cars 2 is actually the best Pixar movie ever made, if you don't count every other Pixar movie. This movie sucks my fucking ass. It's so bad. It is so unbelievably bad. I finally get to talk about a bad movie. It's about damn time. There's only 3 Pixar movies, in my opinion, that are below average, that are below 5 out of 10s. And this is a 2 out of 10. Oh my god, everything about this movie is so bad, except for the Italian car. He's okay, and there's some jokes sprinkled here and there that are maybe funny. I'm not remembering them though, so maybe they weren't that good. But I don't fucking remember them. This movie's really boring. The spy cars are such idiots. Every character's an idiot, by the way. I kind of liked the racing idea, like the world tour. I think that would have been cool. You could have used that to explore, just have like a conflict between Lightning and Mater. Like, the Mater spy thing is just so fucking dumb, and it's the A plot of the movie. I think the B plot with the conflict between Lightning and Mater is, it's not that good, but it's better than whatever the fuck's going on. With the spy cars, they could have just done a movie about that, and kind of show, I don't know, the strains of racing, the toll it takes on your mentality, and then Lightning uses that mentality to lash out at Mater for being an idiot, and then, they have to learn to be better friends with each other. I don't fucking know. I think that's a way better movie than what actually happened. Oh my god, this movie's really bad. Don't watch it. Alright, I am not a Drake fan. Nah, I don't really like him, but we're back to back with these bad movies. I'm gonna play back to back probably at this part of the video because I think that's funny. Brave is pretty bad. It's not very good. It's not quite as terrible. There's some good elements. I honestly think the opening is pretty good. Obviously, the scene where she shoots the arrow through the other arrow, I like that. The scene where they bond in the river is really generic, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. But this movie sucks. Up until, the bear plot. It's pretty good up until the bear plot. Then when she turns into a bear, it all goes to shit. The mom is really boring too. There's not really any good characters. Merida's not a terrible character, but he's not very good. There's just nothing here. There's nothing good here, except for the first 20 minutes are good. They're fine. And then nothing more. The rest of the movie's bad. It's just so crazy to me because I remember the market. I was so excited to watch this movie. It came out when I was 7. I didn't watch it in theaters for some fucking reason, but I remember seeing the trailers. I was so excited. I got the Temple Run Brave game. You remember that? I was so excited to watch this movie, even I never fucking watched it. But yeah, because the marketing made it seem like she was gonna go on like an adventure and do cool archery shit. and she doesn't do that at all. And I do know what happened with this movie. I know that they fired Brenda Chapman and then replaced her with Mark Andrews for some reason, and then said gender has nothing to do with this movie, which is hilarious. So I understand why this movie is not very good, but that doesn't make it not bad. Monsters University is truly an enigma of a film. I can't believe there's a prequel in existence that actually expands on the world of the movie in a pretty creative way, shows the origin stories of the main two characters. It has an amazing climax, an amazing message about disability and, not living up to what you wanted to be and making sure that's okay. And it has Aubrey Plaza in it, and it's still not very good. It's so fucking crazy to me because I love the message of this movie. It's so good, and well, I keep saying I can't. I'm running out of adjectives. I just keep saying things are good, and that's lame of me to say. But I love the message of this movie where Mike, he tries so hard to be a scarer, and the movie just builds up that if you're not scary, then you're not a real monster, and it just doesn't work. You expect that to be the arc of the movie. He learns to be scary, but no, he just can't do it. And I love that, and I love that he's able to come to terms with that and find purpose in just coaching Sully. That was really great. But the rest of the movie is just so boring. I loved this movie when I first saw it, when it came out. I was 8 years old. And I thought, I don't know, I loved the Scare Games plot at that age. And now I look at it, and it really sucks. Every character besides Mike and Sully, there are no memorable characters besides Mike, Sully, and the Dean, and there are no good, likable characters besides Mike and Sully. I fucking hate the Dean. She's so annoying. Her design is cool, but I hate the trope of a teacher or principal who actively sabotages and roots against her students' success. It's so annoying. All the other characters are really boring and dumb. Mike and Sully are fun. I like their bonding, and I love the ending sequence of them working their way up at Monsters Inc. Like, this movie has a great ending, but that doesn't save it from being a 6 out of 10. I don't know, this movie pissed me off at certain times, especially in the second game where they're trying to get the flag, and they get chased out, and he just fucking has the flag. Maybe I need to rewatch that scene. But there was no showing of him getting the flag. They just kind of get to move on. Ugh, it's a weird movie. I understand why people like it, and I understand why some people fucking hate it. I think it's decent, but there's a lot of things wrong with it. Alright, Inside Out. This is a pretty great movie. I think it's on par with Up. I don't think it's a masterpiece. All the plot holes that people say about this movie are kind of true. I think I can forgive the recall tube one. I don't really care about that. But the whole thing where they choose to wake Riley up even though they could just wait it out on the train, that was really stupid because, yeah, when she's asleep, nothing happens. So why didn't they just wait until the morning? But besides that, I think this movie is really great. I love the message. I love the creativity. This movie has so many cool vignettes of illustrating how the mind works. I really like that. I really like when they go inside other people's heads. It's really funny, actually. It's a surprisingly really funny movie. I wish they went into other people's heads more. Maybe they do that more in the sequel. I can't believe they're making a second one. I think that could actually work. This is an idea with a lot of potential, and you could do more with it. It's probably not going to be a very good movie, but, at least there's hope. I really like Anger and Fear. I wish the movie was about them. I think Joy and Sadness are fine protagonists. They're not great. Joy is obviously not the villain. I can't believe that was a talking point. That's so stupid. But I do think she's kind of annoying. I think she is just a little too dismissive of sadness for a really long time. Like, her arc is kind of lopsided, kind of like Lightning McQueen, where she's just kind of unpleasant for too long until she finally starts to get better. I still think she's a decent character, but I don't know. It was harder for me to root for her than some other Pixar protagonists. Sadness is fine too. I really like the scene where she cheers up Bing Bong. Bing Bong's a great character. I didn't really get too emotionally invested in his death though. Like, it's a great scene, but it feels very manufactured of, like, this is the sad part. But I mean, it was sad. He was a great character, but I don't know, not amazing. But I still love this movie. I think I love the message so much, and I love the way they communicate the message. I love where Riley says, I can't be your happy little girl all the time. I forget the exact word, but that line hit. That line hit. Yeah, this is an amazing movie. But it's not like top tier. It's just slightly below that. Again, I think it's on par with Up. All right, call me crazy. I think I kind of like The Good Dinosaur. This is probably the hottest take of the video. I think The Good Dinosaur is an okay movie. A lot of people think it's the worst thing ever. I don't know. I think it's kind of cute. I understand why people don't like it though. Arlo is probably the worst Pixar protagonist. Every time he screamed, I wanted to cut my ears off. It got so annoying by the end of the fucking movie. But I like Spot. I think he's pretty adorable. And I know that people say that they don't care how pretty the movie is. I care how pretty the movie is. I like pretty things a lot. And this movie is so gorgeous. It is the most gorgeous Pixar movie. And I understand why that would not hold other people's attention, but it held my attention. It's so pretty. It's amazing what they were able to do. But it's clear that is like the main selling point of the movie. It's clear that's where most of the time and energy went. I think they realized this movie wasn't very good, and so then they put so much emphasis on the landscapes because the only thing that looked good. And so when that happens, when the visual aspect of the movie is your selling point, it's not going to be better than like a 5, 6 out of 10. But I still think it's okay. I love the scene where they talk with the stick figures about their family. I think Arlo and Spot bonding is cute enough. I think the scene where he draws a circle around them at the end and lets Spot go, I really liked that. That was an amazing voice crack. Holy shit. I don't know. I think this movie's cute. It's not great. It's not that funny. I think Arlo and Spot bonding, though, is pretty wholesome, and it's pretty enough to help hold my attention. I understand why people don't like it, though. I still think it's like a 5 out of 10. But, I don't know. I'll defend this movie. I think it's decent. But definitely not good. Alright, Finding Dory definitely had a lot to live up to in my mind, because I love Finding Nemo so much. And I definitely loved it when I saw it in theaters. But now, it's a 7 out of 10. I still think it's pretty good. I think it's definitely a bit overhated. But I really don't like how Marlin is kind of a dick at the beginning of the movie. I don't like how Marlin and Nemo are pretty useless. They do like nothing for most of the movie. That kind of annoyed me. And I also really don't like how Dory just kind of gets a memory flashback whenever the plot needs it. I think that was really dumb. It's so hard to write a movie around a character that has short-term memory loss, and they did the best they could, but, I mean, that was really annoying, but I understand why they had to do it like that. But I think the flashback scenes themselves are really clever, and pretty cute. I like Baby Dory, and I like her parents. I think they're good enough. Those are all the big problems, though, and they're big enough to make the movie not great, but still a decent time overall. I really love the new characters this movie introduces. I think Hank is really great, making you kind of wonder if he's evil, but the way he bonds with Dory is really good. I like the whales way more than I thought I would. I like the disability message they were going for. Well, I don't know how much I like it, actually. I think Destiny. Her name is Destiny. Bailey is the other one. Destiny is really great with how she can't really see, and she's still able to overcome that. I think Dory's able to overcome her disability, which is great. Hank is too. Bailey isn't, which is really lame. He's just disabled, but then he just gets his echolocation back, and then he's finally useful, which is a little messed up. But I don't know. I still like him as a character. I think he's funny. So, then it's just not as good as the first movie's characters. And I think it's just really lame how this movie wastes Marlin and Nemo. The truck scene is hilariously bad, but still pretty funny. The ending scene with the shells is really great. They're really emotional. I don't know, this movie just kind of feels like it just doesn't have the same scale as Finding Nemo, which is one of the best parts of that movie. So it has the same great emotional beats and same really fun new characters, but it's just, it wastes the old characters, and the new characters aren't as good, and the setting isn't as good, but still a fine movie. Alright, we're back with Cars 3. I think this is a good movie. This is a 7 out of 10 experience, which is fucking crazy for Cars. Oh my glob. I like this movie through and through. I don't think there's nothing great about it, I'd say. I just think the yellow car, Cruz, that's her name, she's cool. I like that she finally gets a chance to race after doubting herself. I love Lightning McQueen's character arc again, of kind of embracing what Doc did for him and learning, just accepting that he is not fit to race anymore and can find purpose through coaching. I think that's really good. I really like the scene with Mater too. Mater's actually a good friend in this movie, which is really nice. He pumps Lightning up before the race, and he helps him out in the middle of the movie. That was really good. But I don't know, it's still Cars, so it can't be that good, because Cars is just so stupid. I will say, I ragged on Cars 2 a lot, but it's the only Cars movie that, like, embraces so stupid of an idea Cars is and just does something stupid and just fucking goes wild. So I understand why people would like that. I still prefer Cars 1 and 3 for actually trying, but, you know, Cars is still dumb, but this is about as good of a Cars movie as you can get. Alright, Coco was fucking awesome. I think a lot of people have done a good job of explaining why this movie's awesome. So I won't go too into detail, but I love the Dia de los Muertos vibe, an actual good twist villain. I love Hector and Miguel. I think they have really great chemistry. I love the Poco Loco performance. I love Remember Me. It's great. I almost cried at the end. It's the best. It's such a good ending. Not as good as Toy Story 3, but second place of endings. This is an amazing movie. 8 out of 10. Go watch it right now. I'm realizing I'm doing a pretty terrible job of handling the microphone throughout this video. You know, I'm new to this. I'm holding the mic right to my mouth right now. I'm on my laptop right now is sitting on a ping pong table, and I'm sitting right in front of it. I don't have a setup, and I don't want to have a setup right now because I think it's stupid. Setups are for fucking lamos. Anyway, Incredibles 2 is not very good. It's okay. It's just such a mess. It lost a year of production, and it really shows. It's got the worst twist villain of any movie I've ever seen. Her motivations are so bad and backwards. I hate them. Dash does not have a character at all in this movie. They drop Mr. Incredible's jealousy arc halfway through. I like the arc of him becoming a better dad. I think that's good. I like Violet. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, but the villain is just so bad. It results in a climax that I'm not invested in. It really tanks a lot of the movie. I love the train. The action sequences in this movie are still really good. The Underminer fight is actually kind of lame, but the train sequence is great. The Screenslaver fight is great. The boat is mid. The new superheroes designs, they suck. Void is so unimportant. Why did they make it seem like she was going to be important? There's just so many things that could have been fixed with this movie if it was given an extra year of production. I think it would have been really great. I still think now it's fine. It's like a 6 out of 10. But it's definitely not great. It's kind of frustrating, actually, how much of a mess this movie is. Alright, I gotta finish talking about these movies before my laptop runs out of battery. But I have a long tangent about Toy Story 4, which is unfortunate. I just watched this movie actually like 2 days ago. It's great. It's pretty good. It's definitely not as good of an ending as Toy Story 3, but, you know, it's not bad. I think Bo is kind of a limp. The problem is, I think this movie introduces so many characters that are fun, but less fun as the original gang, and that kind of tanks it. Especially when Buzz, what the fuck? Especially when Buzz Lightyear, my man, he's pretty boring. He doesn't do anything in this movie. His inner voice gimmick is so dumb. He hasn't really had a compelling character arc since Toy Story 1, but he's still fun in 2 and 3. He's not fun in this movie. He doesn't do anything. Jesse doesn't do much either. Whether or not you like this movie comes down to whether or not you like the new characters, and I think they're fun. I think Gabby's cool. Forky, the scene where Forky is trying to kill himself is so... I don't think his individual lines are that great, but when he sees a trash can and just rejoices, it's so fucking funny. I love the Keegan-Michael Key bird and the other bird. I forget who voiced him, sorry. And I like the ending. I think it's good. It develops Woody's character in an interesting way. It kind of shits all over the ending of the first 3 movies, which I kind of like, but I understand why people don't like. I definitely still like the ending because it's built up too well. It's just a new direction to take Woody's character in. Whether or not you agree with that new direction for his character is up to you, but I think it's fine. I still prefer the ending to 3, but I think this is a barely an 8 out of 10 movie. I like it a lot. Alright, I'm going to be quick about this. Onward is so pathetically mid. It's unbelievable. It's pretty boring. The ending is nice. The dragon battle. The beginning is pretty good too. And the rest of it kind of sucks. It's just super boring. And Ian is a fine enough character. Barley is pretty lame. I'm really struggling to remember what happened in this movie, and I watched it like 3 weeks ago. It's really not great. It's not terrible though. It's just very fine. Soul is a top 5 Pixar movie of all time, and I will defend it with my life. I love this movie so much. I don't know, man. It's got just as it's the most mature and compelling Pixar movie since Ratatouille. It's got just as strong and inspirational as of a message, but it's also got cool space. Like I remember when I mentioned that I like space. That there's got parts of that in this movie. It's so beautiful. The environments are so beautiful. I will say that Terry is really stupid. He doesn't affect the movie story like at all. He's so pointless. You can cut him out of the movie and tweak it, and it would be just the same. But oh my god, I love jazz, and there's a lot of that. I love the jazz sequences. I love 22 in Joe's body discovering all the simple pleasures of life that Joe never realized. I love the barbershop scene where, Joe realizes. I love Joe's journey to realizing that he doesn't need to accomplish things to enjoy his life, and him confessing that he doesn't feel like he has any purpose without this gig to his mom. That scene is so amazing. The montage at the end where he just reflects on his life is so good. This movie's so amazing. It's the only Pixar movie. I watched it when it came out. It's the only Pixar movie where I really my view of life was changed at the end, and I love that. I get why some people don't love it as much. I don't know, man. I just think the good stuff is so good that it outweighs any problem that it has, but I understand those problems exist. But yeah, this is the most profound Pixar movie in my opinion, and I think that's really good, especially when compared to the rest of Pixar's catalog from the last 13 years or so. Yeah, I love this movie so much. But I do think the ending could have been better. I think it would have been better if he died, but I think this is fine. The only way that the ending could have butchered the movie is if they actually show what he did with his life. I think that would have been super lame, but that didn't happen, so the movie is still really good. Alright, I'm really trying to keep this under 40 minutes, so I'm just going to be quick. Luca is great. Oh wait, I'm at 30. Yeah, there's no way this is happening. Whatever. Luca's great. It's very simple, fun, cute. It's just kind of like Up in that way, where there's nothing super crazy going on. Well, besides Up's amazing opening. I think this movie isn't as good as Up though, but it's still a lot of fun. It's cute. I'd recommend it, even though you're not gonna get any super compelling themes or anything like that, but it's still a good time. I think Turning Red was good. I don't know. A lot of people don't like this movie because it has women in it, and I mean, I hate women as much as the next guy, but this is a good movie. I promise I'm joking when I said that. No, this is a fun movie. I really think the backlash to it is overblown. The cartoony style is fun. I think it's a little weird, the panda thing. A lot of people are saying it's a metaphor for periods. It's really not. The periods are in the movie. I don't know if it's a puberty metaphor. It might be. Maybe this is flying over my head. I'm not a very smart guy, if you could tell, based on how I talk so far through this video. I think it's a fun movie. It's a very cute movie. I love May and her friends, and I think they're fun enough to keep this weird, complicated story alive. The generational trauma arc is cool. It's good. I like the mom character, even though, I mean, yeah, she's kind of the villain. Not really the villain, but she causes the main conflict of the movie. But I think she's still compelling, given how she still bonds with May a lot, and I think she's just a lot more fleshed out than I was expecting her to be before I saw the movie, and I liked that. And this movie just has a lot of charm to it. I think it's good. Just leave this movie alone, even though it's really not anything amazing. It's still like a 7 out of 10. All right, Lightyear. This movie is so fucking boring. The clap on my ball sack is more exciting than this fucking movie. Sorry. I had to make one joke about how this movie sucks my balls. It's so boring and bad. It's a 3 out of 10. I hate it. I hate it. Lightyear it's not as bad as Cars 2. I'll give it that. It's pretty. It's a pretty movie. It's got space. I thought I liked space. I don't like it anymore after watching this stupid movie. Buzz Lightyear has literally no character. It has a gay character, which is pretty cool. I was gonna make another joke about how that makes the movie bad, but I don't know. I couldn't think of anything funny. Like, that's fine. I kind of like that montage of him like speeding past her life, and him living to regret it. I think that was the best part of the movie, and I like the cat. I think he's cute, even though he's very clearly like the marketable sidekick toy that they're gonna market and make toys out of. But I don't know. I liked him. But the other characters are really boring. I hate the Taika Waititi guy. I like Taika Waititi a lot. He's funny, but his character is so dumb. He causes all the problems, and then never redeems himself, which is really stupid. The rest of the characters don't really do much. They're kind of lame. I think Izzy, that's her name. Her arc is moderately interesting. The twist villain is so bad, with Buzz being his own enemy. What? They could have just made Zurg Buzz's father, like in Toy Story 2. That would have been really funny. I don't know. I really don't like this movie. It's bad. It's fucking bad. Alright, one more. I recorded all of these, by the way, in the span of 2 hours. I've had a lot of fun. I don't know if my voice has conveyed the amount of fun. I'm not an actor. I'm not very animated right now. It's late at night. I'm trying not to wake my family. I didn't want to, rage about how bad some of these movies are and how good some of these movies are. But you know what? I like Pixar. I had so much fun watching these movies. And Elemental was mid. It was okay. I really liked it when I first saw it, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I like it less. The less I like it. I could have just said that. That would have been a good way to say the sentence. It's fine. It's good. It's better than like Good Dinosaur or Onward. It's like a 6 out of 10. I think the romance is good. The problem is this movie tries to balance the romance with the plot about the dam or whatever, and then it also has the immigration element, and so it doesn't focus on any of those enough, and so they're all kind of half-baked. They focus the most on the romance, which is nice. The two main characters, Ember and Wade, they're good enough to make the movie enjoyable. I like them. The rest of the characters kind of stink. They're just kind of there. I don't know. I really liked the scene where he makes her cry. I actually really like the date they go on. Like they go on a normal date where she meets his parents. I liked that scene a lot, and I really liked the scene where he finds a way to light the fire. That was so sick. And the scene where he shows her the tree underwater, that was really awesome. And then the rest of the movie is another movie that reaches really high points in really scattered parts, and then it has really low lows. Like the climax and the ending, it sucks. The dam just breaks inexplicably, and he just dies. He evaporates and then comes back. That was so stupid. I don't know. Like, this movie could have been really good if they had just knew what they were gonna do with it. They had no idea what they were gonna do with it. And also the element part doesn't really matter at all. The fire and water elements are the elements that matter. You could do this movie with people, and it would be the same thing. So, I don't know. It's still good. I still enjoyed the movie, and I think it's still a somewhat positive note to go out on, but it's not amazing. And yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Alright, so that's every movie. Thank you very much for watching me ramble on for 40 plus minutes about all of these movies. I had a grand time watching all of them. And I know I said I wasn't gonna do a ranking, but I don't care anymore. I'm gonna put up a ranking on the screen right now. So thank you and goodbye.